Mosley or Mousley, I'm not sure, Kevin Mosley I think, he's saying Spurs-Arsenal is a dreadful bore, or is it a tactical battle? Which would you prefer?
It's a bore, let's be honest. Just the fact that the quality on show has been average, I would say at best. You know, especially whenever you look at what Spurs did against Manchester United or even against Liverpool, you know, they really have been fantastic in the last couple of weeks, but today it's just not really happening at all, is it? For either side, it's not just Spurs. Arsenal, whenever they're going forward, like how many times have we said Hector Bellerin down the right hand side, failed to deliver on numerous occasions. Even Mkhitaryan, who I really rate as a player, I think he's a very, very good player, and the chance whenever he tried to play it with his left foot across the Aubameyang,
sit up in centre midfield for Arsenal. This is great.
It's like, you know, sometimes there's mishits and there's just simply dreadful.
What do you put collective failure down to? I mean, Arsenal absolutely thrashed Everton last weekend.
Yep.
Tottenham played in an absolute thriller against Liverpool, having beaten Manchester United the week before.
I'm not sure what I was waiting for. Kieran Trippier,
look at this game. There hasn't really been one player who you could say, wow, he had a fantastic game, or he looked like making something happening. Nobody really has risen to the occasion, have they?
No, and I think that probably just shows just how difficult it is to be consistently very, very good in the Premier League, which is really what you're asking. You know, why aren't these teams, when one week they're fantastic, the next week they're okay, or they're way under par, and that's just, unfortunately, that's just the problem of football. It's a very, very difficult game, and of course, everything that you want to do as a team, you've got the opposition, which is
done at the moment.
In this case, Arsenal are dropping off and conceding so much possession, so much of the pitch, just to try and hold the fort and just stay on the edge of the 18-yard box and say, if you want to break us down, if you're good enough, have a go.
I suppose the flip side of that coin is that it can only get better, and I'm sure both managers as we speak are exhorting their players to produce rather better quality than we've seen in the first half, and you know, the likes of an Eriksen or an Aubameyang or an Ozil or a Kane or an Ali or a Wiltshire, well, they're capable of doing it.
Of course they are, and that's the thing. At any stage they could come alive, and you know, one piece of brilliance, and that might all be. But probably what it also gives us the impression is the fact that these teams are so comparison in terms of their level. They're very, very similar. The quality they have going forward, both defences are pretty good. They've got two very, very good goalkeepers. You know, so they're so similar across all of the areas of their play and of the what they have to offer. So, you know, Spurs in 5th, Arsenal in 6th. 0-0 at half time. It just shows what a sort of equal footing they're on.
Algon 0-0. Will the managers start shuffling the pack, you think? Will that be in their mind already?
I don't know if they would need to, and again, from a Spurs point of view, the fact that they've come in here, you know, with an unchanged team from the last time out, and you're thinking, well, is there anyone really who might add more to this game? The only one you could think is possibly he brings on Wanyama, just because that's what he seems to do. He likes to bring on Wanyama, because it's not an attacking change, but it does seem to mix things up a little bit, and I don't know whether it releases Moussa Dembele to go more advanced. So I can't really see Spurs making too many changes. For Arsenal, probably the only thing you might think is maybe bringing on Danny Welbeck for Jack Wilshere, but actually we talked about Jack Wilshere in the first half. He's been probably one of the better players,
I would agree.
And the way he's kept the ball, and of course that chance that he nearly he did put through from Aubameyang, but just couldn't quite stay onside.
Our feature game later on is West Ham United against Watford from the London Stadium. Both of them still I wouldn't say haunted by relegation, but mildly threatened by relegation. Watford, of course, later on is West Ham United extraordinarily against Chelsea from the London Stadium. Both of them still David Connolly will be bringing full coverage of that one. Let's get the thoughts ahead of that game of the two. Later on is West Ham United extraordinarily against Chelsea from the London Stadium. Both of them still David Connolly will be bringing full coverage of that one. Let's get the thoughts ahead of that game.
I've got to say that the response the players have given since we've come in has been great.
You can win and you can lose every game. In this moment, I think the last match give us motivation.
You know, a good win gets us into mid-table. You know, gets us in a really solid position. If you lose, then you're back in amongst it. So that's how tight the Premier League is at the moment. But every club will be saying the same. All the managers are saying the same. So we've got to do the business and try and get those 3 points.
We know West Ham. It will be a difficult game, and we try to prepare the best way we can.
That's coming up. We've also got Manchester City against Leicester, Everton against Crystal Palace, Stoke City against Brighton and Hove Albion, and Swansea against Burnley for you. Those are all the 3 o'clock kickoffs, English time. Every kick, every goal, every minute of every game, all season for you. Well, this one, 0-0. We said it was hard to predict. We meant before the game it would be hard to predict because there were so many potential match winners. It's now become a game that's hard to predict because you're not sure whether either team is going to improve.
No, I know, but I think it's just when we expect so much quality from both these sides, and especially coming into the game, both teams in really, really good form, and the performances that they've produced, especially in the last few weeks, you're just thinking this has got every ingredient you possibly could need for one of the best North London derbies. But probably because we talked it up, this is the reason why it's going to end up being a bit of a bore drawer. But I still have a lot of faith, a lot of hope in this second half that there's still so much to offer. And as I say, it just takes someone like a Mesut Ozil just to turn one little glance, play a ball through, and suddenly that could open the game. And once the first goal goes in, then almost you want to get back into the game, or you need to. So it could change the dynamics absolutely.
We'll find out in just a moment. The second half is coming up. You're listening to Premier League Live.
Premier League football is a truly global game, and TalkSport is the global audio partner of the Barclays Premier League.
It's a massive goal!
With live commentary of all 380 matches this season, available at TalkSport.com in English, Spanish or Mandarin every weekend.
What a goal! What a fantastic strike!
The event horizon of world-class football. Visit TalkSport.com to find out more.
If you're outside the UK and Ireland, we've got you covered.
Gets away from another, comes into the top corner. It is a moment of Merseyside magic from Mo Salah. He's done it again. His 19th of the season.
TalkSport's international service covers every Premier League match live.
With the Defoe in the penalty area, dips one. Oh, that is a magnificent goal from Jermaine Defoe. Absolutely stunning from Jermaine Defoe.
Full commentary, pre- and post-match analysis, and goals as they go in from every single Premier League match.
Lanzini back to Arnautovic. He's inside the box. There is his first goal for West Ham. Arnautovic took it beautifully. He curled it low past Courtois.
Hear goals as they go in from around the grounds during our featured commentary match.
Rolls it into the feet. Little layup. Arfield going to get punched back. 5 minutes. 1-0. Arfield opens the scoring in the 45th minute. Burnley's strike against the 10th man of Watford.
Every game is covered.
Boy lifts it in left-footed. It's a deep cross. It's headed on by Meunier, and it's 2 for Meunier. Well, like London buses, the goals are now pouring in for Steve Meunier.
Get involved in debates, ask in-game questions to our commentary team, and get goal updates with @TalkSport Live on Twitter.
Here's Gale. Good shot, goal! Dwight Gale's put Newcastle level. Crisp low shot from the edge of the penalty area. Low pass, Schmeichel in a flag.
This is Premier League Live.
Crosses to Olivier Giroud. Equaliser for Arsenal. And as so often, Olivier Giroud off the bench to rescue Arsene Wenger.
Kick-by-kick commentary, expert opinion, international coverage of the world's most exciting football league. Premier League Live. Brought to you by TalkSport Live.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game involves the 2 things in life you love the most.
Football and money.
Exactly predict 10 or more Premier League scores and win £1 million sterling.
The TalkSport £1 million predictor game.
Register now at TalkSport.com/predictor and play for free throughout the season. Win £1 million sterling.
£1 million.
Players must be 18 or over. See TalkSport.com/predictor for full conditions.
Welcome to TalkSport's coverage of Tottenham Hotspur against Arsenal from Wembley Stadium. I'm your host, John, and welcome back. Not a memorable first half, it has to be said, given the huge standards of these two teams. Arsenal are first out onto the pitch. Tottenham still congregated in the tunnel at Wembley. Eric Dyer in deep conversation with Harry Kane, and Son Heung-min. Finally they emerge for the second half in the 195th North London derby. Not one of the most memorable so far. Let's hope it improves in the second half. Too many clear-cut chances, to be honest. Arsenal should have perhaps had an opportunity when Pierre-Emerick Aubameyang, we felt, was wrongly flagged offside, although it was a very, very, very difficult decision for the official. Harry Kane closest for Tottenham Hotspur. Kane, of course, has a habit of scoring in these fixtures, 6 in 6. Header over the top of the bar. So, still raining at Wembley Stadium, where people are only just getting back into their seats, particularly in the hospitality areas, where they do like a elongated lunch at times here, which is frustrating. Off we go. Tottenham Hotspur wearing their traditional blue and white, Arsenal of course in their traditional red and white, both iconic strips down the years. Tottenham Hotspur haven't won the title since 1961, the year that Yuri Gagarin became the first man in space. John F. Kennedy was president of the United States, and Elvis was top of the charts. Here's Dele Alli finding Son Heung-min inside the Arsenal box. Ben Davies, great start to the half by Spurs, but a great block by Mustafi to prevent Davies from this afternoon at Wembley Stadium. Here's Ozil running into trouble. Davies has picked his pocket and is driving forward now, the Welshman, finding Son Heung-min. Son on the edge of the penalty area, looking to get past Bellerin and cross, and again Bellerin's blocked it. Is it always a bad cross, or is Bellerin just doing his job of blocking well?
Well, I think Son isn't really doing enough to try and get any kind of good cross in, but I think as well he's doing well in terms of the fact that he's being positive. Every time he gets the ball, he's running at Bellerin, which I'm sure as a defender he must hate that thing. Every time this guy gets the ball, I'm on the back foot, I'm going towards my own goal where I don't want to be going, and the Spurs whole entire lineup can get themselves further up the pitch.
I'm going to read an amusing tweet in a moment. I've got time. I can't really judge, but Tulani Jones says, you Premier League commentators are so much better than NBC's in the US. The trick is syncing your audio with their video. Well, I'm glad you think that, and we're delighted to be bringing it to you, as we always are, of course. You know, people listening throughout the world, it's very gratifying to know that you've tuned in to us. Here's El Neni for Arsenal, finding Monreal, far side, still inside his own half, up towards Mkhitaryan, who's just bundled over by Kieran Trippier. You can tell from the reaction of the Tottenham Hotspur fans that they felt it was pretty soft.
Soft, to say the least. That is a terrible decision by Anthony Taylor.
Yeah.
Henrik Mkhitaryan just decides that he wants to stand on the ball, put his foot on the ball. Trippier comes in. I don't think he even makes a tackle. He just has some pressure in terms of his body on his back.
Clearance by Czech was rather scraped away. It's come into Tottenham territory with Vertonghen, N/A-HCOM18, which is not a very catchy name, says can't see any game changes in the Spurs team. Maybe Lucas Moura or would come on and make a difference. Here's Ozil for Arsenal, near side, beaten to it by Moussa Dembele. He's also asking about Llorente, but he's not in the squad this afternoon. Here's Eriksson finding Dyer, and now Dembele for Spurs. Davies just outside. Dembele manages to find him. Bit of space for Ben Davies. Cross is better on this side. Harry Kane meets it, and Harry Kane scores. Tottenham Hotspur lead. 4th minute of the second half. At last, a decent delivery from out wide, and Harry Kane does what he always does, particularly against Arsenal. It's his 7th goal in 7 games against the Gunners, and Spurs have the lead.
What a goal. What a header from Harry Kane. You know, we've talked about crosses all the way through the first 50 minutes of this game. They've been pretty poor on average from both sides, but this one time, Ben Davies, he must have 15 yards of space, and almost the first time that any of the teams have put in a good cross into the box, Harry Kane is up way above Lauren Koscielny, just uses the defenders, a little bit of leverage, just to guide the ball into the bottom corner, and it's nothing less than you expect from a top-class goal scorer.
That is an absolutely classic centre-forward's header, isn't it? The way you'd be taught, get up, get above the man, and power it down low so the keeper's got no chance. Absolutely textbook stuff from Kane.
And put it back into the far corner of where the goalkeeper's already coming from. So, and even if any Arsenal fans will think, was that a free kick? Was Harry Kane leveraging almost up even higher on top of Koscielny? It was just because Harry Kane has jumped early. He's already got his position set, and what a fantastic header that was. 32nd goal of the season in all competitions. He's 94th in 107 games. You just cannot keep Harry Kane down. Here's Bellerin though at the other end, and Dyer is nipping in just in front of Monreal. Harry Kane's now got 8 goals in his last 7 games, 14 in his last 11. It just goes on and on. From Eriksen to Son. Here's Son, tackled by Bellerin, didn't make anything of it. It was a good ball. Just trying to get through Harry Kane's statistic, which is no mean feat. Pass of the match that was from Christian Eriksen, from right back to left wing, straight into the path of Son. Outstanding pass, and just couldn't quite make the most of it. Quite apart from who you support, the goal was probably what the game needed. It wasn't it's going to open it up now, because Arsenal have to go for it, because if Tottenham win. Oh, here's Kane again! Oh, he's almost made it 2-0. Another cross, this time from the opposite side, the right. Kane was on the end of it this time. He's flashed his header wide. Paul McVeigh has jumped so far in the air that horrible noise you can hear is his headset rattling. Calm down. Nearly hit the ceiling. I thought it can't be 2 great crosses, 2 Harry Kane headers, and without probably an inch of the right-hand post of Petr Cech, it almost would have been. But oh my goodness, and that's what we talked about at half-time, John. When you have that one little bit of quality, suddenly, because there are so many game changers out on the pitch, because someone just suddenly does something extra special, puts it into the path of Harry Kane, inevitably he's going to cause problems. Well, if that had gone in, that might have put it beyond Arsenal. As it stands, if Tottenham win this game, they will have a 7-point advantage over their North London rivals. Arsenal would stay 6th, Tottenham would move up into 3rd above Liverpool. So that goal could be absolutely massive, as indeed will Arsenal's response have to be. Gunners, of course, for the first time under Arsene Wenger, failed to reach the Champions League last season. They're stuck in the Europa League. They'll play Östersunds, the Swedish club with an English manager, on Thursday. Tottenham Hotspur, meanwhile, in midweek, are against Juventus, which is the rather more glamorous European tie. Listen to the Tottenham fans at Wembley Stadium. Here's Xhaka, forward to El Neni, finds Wilshere. There's a peel away down the left-hand side. Wilshere manages to find Mkhitaryan, but manages to find Mkhitaryan in an offside position, and Arsenal are penalised. But back comes Spurs. Here's Eriksen. It's end-to-end now. Nothing like the first half at all. As Trippier tries to get the cross in. Does so. Kane into the box. Magnificent volley. Might drop for Son. Brilliant save initially by Cech. Kane got everything behind that. Thundered it. And Petr Cech, who's still waiting for that 200th clean sheet, made a wonderful save. Kane could have had a hat-trick in 3 minutes. Well, it was just so much quality and class. And we talked about Ben Davies' cross for Harry Kane's header. This time it's Trippier on the right-hand side with a lovely nutmeg on Jack Wilshere, who dived in on the wing, on the full-back. And with that cross, Harry Kane, he's got technique, he's got class, he's got quality, and he really is turning it on the second half. Eriksen's corner, headed away at the near post by Mohamed El Neni, but Tottenham Hotspur are in complete control of this derby at the moment. Here's Davis, another good cross by him, and again it's attacked, this time by Vertonghen. Doesn't get the header on target. Poor clearance by Mustafi. Drops kindly for Arsenal, who are at 6s and 7s at the moment. They can't get the ball out of the final third. They are on the ropes. Arsenal are on the ropes at the minute. Spurs really are throwing everything they have at them here. And even whenever you saw Ben Davies going in for this tackle on El Neni, he is absolutely gone to smash the midfielder, and very, very luckily just got his studs on the ball. Here's Xhaka for Arsenal, rocked by that 48th minute goal by Harry Kane.
who's been their nemesis so often, and so it's proved again today. Here's Dembele. Tottenham have a swagger about them now. This is Son Heung-min, near side, looking to take on Bellerin. Bellerin just can't get a foot on the ball. Son finds Dembele. Dembele to Ben Davies, who are being serenaded by their fans at the moment. Tottenham Hotspur. Bellerin away towards Wiltshire, who lose it. Arsenal still can't get it out of their own half. Kane has it. There's a man available wide on the right hand side. It's Kieran Trippier. Dyer's got on a run forward from centre midfield to wide right and holds it up nicely and finds Sanchez. Now Eriksson in towards the edge of the box. Koscielny with the header, which will bounce in front of Son Heung-min, who's being held, is he, by Bellerin? No, says referee Taylor, who's well placed. It's come through to Son. Son with a nutmeg. Son to Kane. Kane trying to find space for a shot, and the referee has awarded Tottenham Hotspur a free kick.
Well, it was a free kick. It was just the fact that there was more advantage because the ball went through to Harry Kane. Suddenly, you think Harry Kane's going to get the shot off. Eventually, it leads to nothing. So Anthony Taylor does the right thing, brings it back for a free kick on the edge of the box. But another lovely little nutmeg from Son, this time on Mustafi. It's a couple of times we've seen that in the last couple of minutes, and Spurs really are turning on the pressure.
Well, we have a free kick in Christian Eriksen territory. It is literally 1 yard or 1 metre, if you like, outside the penalty area, just to the left of centre. Petr Cech's got some organising here to do. We know what Eriksen's capable of from this sort of distance. Takes a few steps back, the Danish international. Can he put Tottenham 2 up? Oh, brilliant save by Cech. That was arcing into the top corner, and Arsenal's 35-year-old goalkeeper had to go all the way with his left hand and make a super save.
Well, Petr Cech at his absolute best there, because I don't think Eriksen could have put that any closer to the top corner, but Cech has flew across the goal there, and even though he probably went with his wrong hand, but he probably could have saved that easier with his right hand, decided to go with his left, but it was a top-class save.
Eriksen with the corner. Tottenham need to make this current advantage count. There's the header. This time it's wide from Jan Vertonghen, the Belgian international, rising, looking for his second goal of the season, but wide of the mark.
Well, it's just got everything this game now, hasn't it? Everything that we didn't have in the first half, because we got a lot of good build-up play, but really poor deliveries. Not real much quality at all in the first half, but this first 10-12 minutes of the second half has been all Spurs. It's been all out attack, and it really has been a joy to watch.
The ball rarely in the second half is in the Tottenham half. Here's Ozil finding Bellerin. Bellerin through towards Xhaka. Xhaka is tackled by Vertonghen, who does well, and Tottenham Hotspur clear it. Igbudu CJ says Arsenal could lose embarrassingly now. It's all about the Harry Kane show. Well, Kane is one of those players, isn't he, that he doesn't really have to necessarily participate enormously in the general play, but when he gets a chance, he'll bury it.
Well, can I just say about Dele Alli there, because whenever Jan Vertonghen did really well to win the ball back in the Spurs box, and eventually it's just been cleared long, Dele Alli probably closed down maybe 70-80 metres, finally got to Mustafi as that ball's gone back towards Petr Cech. He's now run another 30 metres, closed down Petr Cech, and eventually Petr Cech kicks the ball out of play, and that just shows the momentum Spurs have. It's the extra metre they're going to run, it's the extra mile they're going to go, and Spurs really do look like a different team in the second half.
Well, Arsenal are warming up subs. Among them is Alex Iwobi, but they have been totally second best in this second half, the Gunners. Tottenham look as if they're going to get revenge for that defeat at the Emirates back in November, but a poor ball across field lands at the feet of Granit Xhaka. Xhaka finds Bellerin just inside the Tottenham Hotspur half. Bellerin again from Ozil, who scampers forward through midfield, plays another poor ball. He's not had a very good game, Ozil, at all, has he? He's not been effective. He's one of these frustrating players who can disappear, and this is one of those games for him. Here's Mkhitaryan in towards Aubameyang, doesn't get there. Dembele intercepts, and Tottenham might come forward menacingly here. Dembele loses out in midfield though to Xhaka. Xhaka forward towards Aubameyang. The pass had too much on it, and Lloris was able to get out and clear, but at least Arsenal are enjoying a little bit of possession here. Ozil finding Wilshere, poor ball, gets a second chance, poor ball second time as well, and cleared by Tottenham up towards the Arsenal midway point in their half, where it's defended by Koscielny.
But this is almost what you'd expect of a North London derby, isn't it? With just, both teams going for it, tackles flying in, probably less quality in this part of the game, but it's because there's so much pressure, so many of the teams are closing, or so many of the players are closing down, and this is what I would expect from North London derby. Not the first half, where it's almost like you attack, we'll let you have the ball, you let us have the ball. This is what the fans want to see.
There's Tottenham coming forward with Eriksen, who just guides it away from Monreal, still has it. The ball has just about gone out of play. Cal Ali H. Jesse says, "Oh, Harry Kane, this man must be Brazilian or Argentinian somehow. He's a goal machine." Well, I'll tell you what the Tottenham fans will tell you. He's not Brazilian, he's not Argentinian, he's one of our own!
But if he were Brazilian or Argentinian, it would probably add another 50 million on his price tag.
Here's Spurs looking to get forward again down the right-hand side with Trippier. Nice cushion ball back to Dyer, who finds Eriksen. Eriksen to Moussa Dembele. Tottenham could quite easily be 2 or 3 goals up in this second half. Kane has twice gone close. Cech has made 2 brilliant saves, and Tottenham have got a free kick now. The 2 number 20s, Mustafi and Ali, coming together, and Dele Alli has gone down, and it's a free kick to Tottenham Hotspur. A lot of talk this week about Dele Alli and diving, but that was clearly a foul.
Well, this is what he needs to do, isn't it? This is, even though he probably has been a little bit off in terms of what we expect from Dele Alli and this season's performances, today he's just running as much as he can. He's really working hard. He's getting involved in the build-up. He's now dragging Mustafi away from the penalty area in the centre of goal where he wants to be, out to the left-hand side. So he's just being a real nuisance for that Arsenal defence.
Virtually everybody in the Arsenal boxes. Eriksen delivers. Son Heung-min tries to get a back heel in. Dyer tries to flick the ball goalwards. It's come off Granit Xhaka, and the Swiss international has conceded a corner for Arsenal, who've been backs to the wall, really. I think it's fair to say in this second half we're up to 62 minutes. First 17 minutes of this half have flown past. Tottenham Hotspur, well, look for a second goal, which might prove decisive in the end. Eriksen with the corner, Cech with the punch, out to Dembele. Dembele with a really astute header, out to Eriksen, who looks to cross again. It's too close to Petr Cech, but for him Arsenal would be doomed, wouldn't they?
But you would also say as well, if there are any positives, of course, if you were wanting to be either team at the minute, you're going to say Spurs are doing better and you'd prefer to be in the Spurs team, but Arsenal have soaked up a lot of pressure, and they're still only 1-0 down, so we've got plenty of Arsenal attacking talent down there that they can drag themselves back into this game very easily.
Dele Alli far side, he's almost up to the corner flag, being shadowed by Mkhitaryan. Mkhitaryan gets a foot in but can't get the ball away from the England international. Ali was trying to sneak his way through. Finally Mkhitaryan gets a foot. It's another corner to Tottenham Hotspur. I'm not entirely sure of the corner count, but I can tell you Tottenham are massively ahead. Alexandre Lacazette and Alex Iwobi are about to come on for Arsenal as Arsene Wenger looks to try and change things around and change the game around with 63 minutes played. The corner is on the far side. It's going to be a right-footed outswinger from Christian Eriksen, who nearly made it 2-0 with a free kick which Cech brilliantly saved a moment ago. Here's the corner. Dele Alli is up, so too is Koscielny. Davinson Sanchez tries to volley it forward. It's gone harmlessly back to Moussa Dembele, who just veers away from Aubameyang, who's had hardly a kick second half. Here's Dembele for Spurs.
Well, when you said trying to volley it forward, I have a feeling Sanchez was trying to have a shot on the volley towards goal from like 40 yards. I'm just not sure exactly what he was thinking.
No, he hasn't scored in 26 appearances for Tottenham Hotspur. Here's the man who certainly has, Harry Kane, but he's been ruled offside.
Well,
the double substitution's going to happen now.
They need to do something, don't they? You know, they really are backs against the wall at the minute, and Spurs have stepped up the energy levels, the quality, just everything. Their all-round game, they're closing down, pressing of Arsenal, and Arsenal at the minute just simply can't handle it. As we see Mkhitaryan make his way off the pitch, he has been disappointing. I really like him as a player, but he's been disappointing today. El Neni, who's just come in this week for Aaron Ramsey, he obviously has a groin injury. We believe that El Neni has been virtually anonymous throughout the entire game, so Iwobi coming on and Lacazette, they need to do something because Arsenal just don't know how to deal with the quality that Spurs are showing.
Neither of the substitutes who have come on are among the goals recently. Lacazette, 1 goal in 12, that was towards the end of January against Crystal Palace. Iwobi has only got 2 goals in 34, so they're not an immediate source of goals for Arsenal. Here is Lacazette, whose first touch finds him in an offside position. 65 minutes gone at Wembley Stadium, where Tottenham are by far the better team. Now, Adrian Bailey says Trippier, as in more trippy. He ain't French, I know that. I've been calling him Trippier throughout the entire game, unless I might have mispronounced. I'm fully aware that he's not from France, he's from Manchester. Here's Vertonghen driving it forward up towards Christian Eriksen, who can't quite get a touch. This is Bellerin.
I'm not sure why he's trying to nutmeg Dele Alli in the right back position. Clearly that must be probably not the tactic that they discussed at half-time, but that's a really poor decision from Bellerin. You know, Arsenal are on the ropes. They don't know how to handle Spurs going forward. You've got the ball in the right back area, and Hector Bellerin's trying to nutmeg Dele Alli as the ball comes to him. Dele Alli's seen that so many times before. He just steps back, won the ball, suddenly Arsenal are defending again.
Here's Wilshere trying to get forward, but he's lost it.
That's not a free kick. No, honestly though, John, that is blatantly, Harry Kane has read that like a book. Jack Wilshere, he knows he's going in behind him. Harry Kane's got his body in between the ball and Wilshere. Wilshere runs into Harry Kane. Harry Kane's running with the ball, and for some reason Anthony Taylor's decided he thinks that's a free kick. I don't know what else you can say apart from that is a terrible decision from Anthony Taylor.
Harry Kane certainly wasn't terribly happy with it, but it is a free kick, rightly or wrongly.
Jack Wilshere just runs into him. It's not like Harry Kane put his arm up or put his elbow across his face. He's just run into him and he's given a free kick. I don't know what the referee's seen there.
There's Mustafi finding Bellerin wide right for Arsenal, who plays a misplaced ball infield, which is intercepted by Vertonghen. Suddenly Harry Kane is on the ball. Kane just swivels away from Wilshere, plays a great ball. Here's Son Heung-min, didn't quite get the touch he wanted to take the ball with him. He still has possession, but Arsenal have got players back. Good interception by Koscielny as Son tried to pick out Dele Alli. Hector Bellerin forward to Granit Xhaka, back to Bellerin again. Arsenal have pretty much failed to create anything remotely approaching a chance. That's a clever dummy though by Wilshere to find Ozil, and suddenly Aubameyang is in the Tottenham box, plays a disappointed cross cleared by Dyer only as far as Wilshere. Arsenal fans wanted to shoot, he does shoot, and his curling left foot shot is held by Hugo Lloris. That's just about the hardest save Lloris has had to make all afternoon.
Well, for once we've seen Aubameyang down the left hand side just using his pace, dragging his team with him. Eventually Jack Wilshere gets a shot on goal because I don't know why Jan Vertonghen is trying to backheel that defensive clearance away, but straight into the path of Wilshere, and a really good strike, but very good save from Lloris.
Well, Arsenal at least having an effort on goal in the second half. It was their first. It came at the exact midway point of the second period. It's their first effort on target in the whole game. Tottenham have had 4 and scored one of them thanks to Harry Kane. Smokey Jones says, I agree with the other lad from the States. Your commentary is far better than anything we have over here. Well, gee, thank you.
I think that's my dad.
That's you.
My dad's
your dad.
Again.
You've been paying him.
He's tweeting in again. Thanks, Dad.
Well, wherever you're watching, this second half has been unrecognisable from the first, really. It's been fantastic.
But that's what we wanted,
and the first half was poor.
This is what we wanted. It's blood and thunder. It's both teams going for it. Spurs way better than Arsenal at the minute, but Arsenal still have so much to offer this game. As we just saw there, Jack Wilshere, whenever he's on the ball, he didn't even have to touch the ball. They get that attack going. He let it run. Great little dummy into the path of Ozil, plays Aubameyang. But Wilshere's probably been their best player.
Here's Dele Alli coming forward for Spurs. Son is in a great position. Oh my goodness me, you could not have missed the target by more than Son Heung-min did there. That would have cleared a pole vault bar at 6 metres. He's hoofed it so high, unbelievable. Dele Alli set him up. He's gone for the first time sweep, and it's almost gone out of the stadium.
I was just about to say, is the ball still in the stadium? That is just so bad.
Bouncing around the car park
he
somewhere.
Had to hit it first time, because whenever the ball's coming across, he's got defenders, he has to hit it first time. And you could, what do you say, that was a bubble on this carpet-like pitch.
Well, Son Heung-min is going off.
Probably
there are people in the crowd waving Korean flags. Of course, the Winter Olympics is being held in Korea. I tell you what, it's cold here. It's minus 25 where the Winter Olympics are being held. But Son, incidentally, wasn't it great to see North and South Korean athletes parading together? That's my last political comment of the broadcast. Eric Lamela has come on with 20 minutes left to replace Son Heung-min. Lamela, who scored in the cup win in that replay again. Oh my goodness me, Cech has almost presented Dele Alli with a goal. It was a poor touch by Petr Cech, and back pass from Mustafi. Cech played it into Dele Alli, and he couldn't quite control it. Had he done so, he would have walked it in for 2-0, and Petr Cech, who's made 2 brilliant saves in the second half, is one relieved goalkeeper.
You know what, John, this is a perfect example of why I love the psychology and the mental side of the game, because you've got an Arsenal team on that pitch here, quality.
Oh, over the top, Dele Alli trying to poke it past Cech, and it's gone the wrong side of the post. But my goodness me, Arsenal are living so dangerously at the moment. They've gone to a complete shambles at the back. The ball given away by Koscielny. Ali was onside. It was a clever chip forward towards him, and he's toe-poked it just the wrong side of the post. But it's beginning to look when rather than if Tottenham score again.
Well, what would you have given for that ball to be dropping to Harry Kane rather than Dele Alli? I didn't feel confident whenever Dele Alli was running onto the ball. He hasn't been in any kind of form that we know he can produce, and we've seen him produce over the last few seasons. But that time he's just gone a little bit early, probably a little bit too instinctive, and eventually he's just nicked it past the post. But you're right, John, Arsenal are completely gone now, on the ropes. And I was just about to say before that Dele Alli chance, the reason why I love the kind of the psychology of the game is because this Arsenal team, who normally are very good, simply don't know how to handle this.
Oh, this is a brilliant counter-attack from Tottenham Hotspur. Here's Eric Lamela into the Arsenal box, and Cech has rescued the Gunners again. Lamela with virtually his first action since coming on as a substitute, with a diagonal run into the penalty area after an excellent break by Vertonghen and a splendid ball by Ali. And Petr Cech at the foot of his post has got enough on it to just divert the ball behind for a corner.
Well, Spurs really need to capitalise on this pressure. They're doing so well, putting Arsenal on the back foot. Arsenal almost shooting themselves in the foot as well at the same time, which isn't a good combination for Arsenal. But still, the score is 1-0, and Spurs really need to get this second goal to try and kill this game off.
17 and a half minutes left. Christian Eriksen with the corner from the far side. The Dane with a high hanging out swinger. It's nodded away by Bellerin. It hits Lacazette. Bellerin picks it up again. Arsenal have been absolutely battered in the second half by Tottenham. I can't remember a North London derby in the second half where one team has been so dominant. It's normally a close fought affair, but Tottenham have absolutely dominated things. Here's Alex Iwobi, gives it away cheaply. Arsenal have been really awful today, haven't they? There's no other word for it. They've barely strung passes together, created little or nothing. One effort on target from Jack Wilshere in the whole game, which was saved by Lloris, who's otherwise been a spectator. Arsene Wenger's got big problems, because with the gap that there's going to be between these two teams, the chances of Arsenal reaching the Champions League are regressing as we speak.
2 hopes, did they say, and Bob's just left time.
Well, here's Davinson Sanchez. The only comforting thought, I think, for Arsenal fans is that it is only 1-0. The game should be out of sight for Spurs, really. It isn't, though, yet. And how often have we seen teams play poorly and snatch something, given the inability of the other team to see the game out?
And you would have said in the first half, okay, both teams really aren't at it, but there's always that potential. But as soon as Spurs have stepped it up, Arsenal just simply haven't replied at all. They've had the opportunities to put some crosses in, have some good shots, try and get some build-up play, but every time they have that opportunity, it just seems to fail at the final hurdle.
Well, just over 15 minutes left to go. Jack Adams says, thank you, Talksport.com. I've listened to the NLD, I'm not sure what that is, here in Tokyo. Oh, I see. I thought it was some sort of radio station. I've never seen it used as an acronym like that. Really appreciated this because it's my only realistic connection when I'm out in the Far East. Tottenham are by far the better team, quite right. Here's Davinson Sanchez. Is it always referred to as NLD? I've never heard that. I suppose it's shorthand. It just shows how out of touch I am with such things. Here's Kane, who at the moment has the goal that separates the team, finding Lamela. Lamela's got Eriksson to his left. Eriksson just inside the box, clips it in, real chance! Brilliant save again by Petr Cech. It was Harry Kane who met it on the half volley. Tottenham Hotspur really should be 5-0 up. Kane into the box across the face. How many more saves is Petr Cech going to need to make to keep Arsenal in this game?
Well, he is the reason why it is 1-0. We've talked a couple of times, and actually it's Kieran Trippier who's coming in on the right back area, who's caught it so sweetly on the half volley. Unfortunately for Kieran Trippier, it's straight at Petr Cech. Luckily for Arsenal, it's right at Petr Cech, and he has saved it. It's bounced to Mustafi, and he has cleared it eventually. But just another example of, it's just such a clear-cut chance for Spurs, and there's probably been at least 4 or 5 of them in the last 10 minutes. And if Spurs don't get this second goal, they really will be kicking themselves.
Yeah, absolutely. You're right. It was Trippier, not Kane. It's a reasonable connection, but the goalkeeper was well placed. Here's Bellerin for Arsenal, who have been woefully second best in the second half. The substitutes Lacazette and Iwobi have had very little impact so far.
Well, it's interesting that Arsene Wenger...
Oh, hang on. Wilshere has played the ball forward usefully. Ozil chases Lloris very sprightly off his line to come out and clear in his 241st appearance for Tottenham Hotspur. Could be heading for a second clean sheet against Arsenal in 13 meetings.
Well, he's not called the sweeper keeper for nothing. That's exactly what he's just done there. And it was just before that chance for Arsenal, I was just about to say it's interesting how Arsene Wenger has put Lacazette up front, almost at the top of the attacking 4 players for Arsenal, and put Aubameyang over on the left as their new signing that they've spent all that money on.
Well, he hasn't done very much today, Aubameyang. Here's Monreal finding Koscielny to Xhaka. Arsenal just enjoying a feel of the ball at the moment because they've had so little of it in this second half. It's come out to Bellerin though, who finds Iwobi. Iwobi runs straight into Dele Alli, who goes away from the Nigerian international, who then fouls him, I think, Iwobi. It's going to be a free kick to Tottenham Hotspur right on the halfway line on this near side of Wembley Stadium. Ali takes it quickly and Eriksson will keep it in. Clever free kick by Dele Alli. Eriksson, can he pick out a Spurs player in the box? It's gone across the face of goal. Kane tried to get there and does get there. And Son wants it, or rather Dele Alli, I should say, wants it played into the box. It's Moussa Dembele just outside the Arsenal penalty area, finding Ben Davis. Davis to Eriksson. Eriksson just moves in field. Tottenham Hotspur patient in their build-up, but looking for a second goal, which will surely seal the deal. Granit Xhaka, though, has intercepted for Arsenal. In slides Dyer. It's hard to think of any position on the field where Arsenal have performed better than Tottenham. Every Spurs player really, with the absence of Cech, I was going to say it's not really Lloris's fault.
No.
Nobody else in a red shirt has done better than a white shirted counterpart.
Yeah, I think the only way to describe this is the Spurs have been dominant in the second half. They're closing down the ball, their quality on the ball, even the vision of where they're playing the passes. There's so much more in the Spurs in terms of the level, quality. Unfortunately, we've just seen Eric Lamela go in here almost two-footed on Jack Wilshere.
Actually, for that foul.
And rightly so, because that's a really poor challenge, and luckily Jack Wilshere saw that coming and skipped over the top of it.
Well, Mauricio Pochettino is getting drenched as he looks on alongside Arsene Wenger, and we won't mind that because his team have performed really well, but there is still time for Arsenal. 11 minutes, Wilshere towards Iwobi. Iwobi again has scored in possession. Arsenal survive. It's come out to Bayer in near side. We're going to get beyond Christian Eriksen. Eriksen finds Xhaka. It's a better ball. Here's Ozil. Ozil has found Lacazette again. Lacazette is offside. Not the first time that he's just gone too early. He looks wistfully across to the assistant referee as if to suggest that that was a mistake, but I think he was just off.
Probably, and again, it's really, really tight, but it's one of those decisions that whenever the coach or the manager sees it, because Lacazette's pulled all the way across to the right-hand side, he's looking across the entire Spurs back line. You shouldn't really be caught offside in that position, because you can see there's no one else on the right-hand side. You can see everybody to your left. Definitely should have been offside, so it's a little bit lazy play from Lacazette.
Interesting what we were saying about Petr Cech. Got a tweet here from offended merchant Andani, who says, my man of the match is Cech. He looks like in his prime. He deserves the outfield players to equalise for his performance. Well,
true.
Frankly, but they haven't lived up to his performance, have they?
No.
Any of them?
No.
So I'm not sure I agree with that. I think it would be a travesty from Tottenham's point of view at the moment if Arsenal were to equalise.
Yeah, but you can imagine if you are Petr Cech and you're thinking, hang on a minute, lads, I shouldn't have this many saves to make, especially point-blank saves, which is what he's doing, and he really is pulling off some outstanding stops at the minute.
Well, he's made 3 or 4. The game should be out of sight for Spurs. It still isn't. We're inside the final 10 minutes. Here's Iwobi, who I don't think has hit one pass to a teammate since he's been on. Kane has been tackled in centre midfield. It comes out to Mesut Ozil. Ozil, he's had one of those frustrating games where he hasn't really contributed very much. Granit Xhaka plays an interesting ball across towards Aubameyang, who tries to cushion it into Lacazette. Lacazette tries to bring it down and shoot, but his touch is heavy and the ball goes across to a Spurs defender who thumps it clear. But Arsenal at least are offering their supporters a little bit of hope here. They've weathered a real Tottenham storm and they're trying to come forward. But again, passing's been awful from Arsenal, hasn't it? And this time it's Koscielny giving it away, and he's fortunate that the subsequent pass is not a particularly good one forward, and that Dele Alli was beaten to the punch by Mustafi. Mustafi was celebrating at the Emirates against Tottenham in November, scoring one of the goals in a 2-0 win. Tottenham Hotspur leading by 1-0 here. And that's a lovely ball forward. Here's Aubameyang. He's offside again.
Well, Ozil with a really, really good ball. Probably very few times have we seen him do this in the match, but he's inside his own half. He's playing Aubameyang, who again is offside. He's just the other side of Trippier there, and probably just went a little bit early, but that's what Aubameyang's been living off today. Just scraps. Very occasionally has Mesut Ozil had the opportunity to play those balls through, but I just wonder, I'm sitting here wondering, John, thinking 8 minutes left of normal time anyway, and because Spurs haven't got that second goal, because Arsenal are still in it, is this the reason why Spurs are sitting in the 5th position and Arsenal in 6th? Because they just don't have that ability at the minute. They consistently kill teams off.
Well, Spurs are unbeaten in 8 Premier League games, but they've drawn 3 of the last 5. Arsenal have the quality on paper, certainly. They haven't shown it yet, but the likes of Ozil and Aubameyang and Wilshere and Lacazette on his day have what it takes. Here's Iwobi finding Ozil. It would be smash and grab, really, wouldn't it, if Arsenal were to pinch an equaliser, but they take it now.
But I really do believe if Arsenal do get that equaliser, you know, not only do they deserve it, but the fact that Spurs haven't killed them off, it's almost like they're giving them that opportunity. They're saying, okay, we're doing well and definitely the better team in the second half. That doesn't give you anything.
Ali trying to find Kane. The Tottenham fans are claiming it's either a corner or a free kick. Kane's gone down under pressure from Monreal. Just get another good view of it here. Did he win the ball? I think he did, actually. It's going to be a corner, not a free kick. Probably prefer a corner anyway.
Yeah.
Wanyama is about to come on, having hit an absolute screamer against Liverpool last week.
I think for some reason, John, that Mauricio Pochettino's come out to the fourth official who's holding up the board for to bring Victor Wanyama on, and I think Pochettino's just saying no, wait. Not sure if they're making the substitution or not. Maybe as this corner's coming in.
Dele Alli might have been the man who was going to come off. Wanyama's stripped and on the sideline. It is Dele Alli who's coming off. Applause for Tottenham Hotspur fans behind that goal. Continued a bit of a barren spell. He hasn't been on target today. Only 2 in his last 20 games, Dele Alli, and he hasn't scored since he netted against Swansea 8 games ago, but he's getting a standing ovation from the Tottenham Hotspur fan. He's been part of a very good team performance today.
He's been fantastic, Dele Alli. It's just, and again, I'd probably say his greatest attribute today was just his energy.
Yeah.
You know, he's made a couple of good passes and a couple of little flicks, especially linking up well with Harry Kane, but his energy and just non-stop running has been an absolute pleasure to watch.
Spurs have a corner. It's going to be Eric Lamela with his left foot to curl it in from the far side. Wanyama is immediately up to try and get on the end of it. Dyer does get on the end of it, but his header loops up, goes across the goal line for an Arsenal goal kick. 5 minutes to go. Last throw of the dice from Arsene Wenger sees Danny Welbeck fit again, and he's going to be introduced in place of Granit Xhaka for the final 5 minutes of the game plus stoppage time. 5 goals this season for Danny Welbeck, although he hasn't scored in the Premier League since he got a double against Bournemouth back in September. Here's Wilshere, midfield for Arsenal. That's a lovely ball by Wilshere to Aubameyang, and that's come off Davinson Sanchez, and Arsenal have suddenly got themselves a corner out of nothing. Really good ball by Wilshere.
Would you say
Sanchez got there just to poke it away from Aubameyang?
Would you agree with me that Wilshere's probably been Arsenal's best player?
I would. Apart from Czech, I would agree.
Oh yeah, of course. Yeah, outfield player.
Totally. 10th corner of the game. Third corner of the game, I should say, for Arsenal. Headed away by Kieran Trippier. Tottenham have had 10. Here's Wilshere again. Just gets it away from Eriksen and looks to try and cause a few more problems. This is good stuff from Wilshere, and Welbeck couldn't quite get on the end of it. It's a lovely ball by Jack Wilshere. Welbeck, who's just come on, the ball just went across him. He just needed a touch to bring it under control, and he wasn't able to do so. And Laurie slides in. But Arsenal in the last couple of minutes have looked better, and Wilshere's been, as you say, the instigator for them. But the fact remains that they trail by the Harry Kane header early in the second half. Here's Trippier finding Davinson Sanchez. Trippier down the line towards Eriksen, knocked away by Koscielny, picked up by Victor Wanyama, the Kenyan captain once of Southampton. It's gone out of play.
Well, I just think he's such a top player, Wanyama, and for almost Mauricio Pochettino has that option every single game that Wanyama's on the bench, and of course Eric Dyer and Dembele have been very good today, but to be able to bring off Victor Wanyama and just really try and kill this game off. We've talked about killing it off and getting the second goal, but Pochettino does this on a regular basis where he brings on Wanyama, and suddenly you have Eric Dyer, Wanyama, Dembele, and that is such a solid, strong central midfield area.
Yeah, and Arsenal haven't looked like breaking it down yet. Here's Koscielny. Tottenham fans have totally drowned out the Arsenal contingent, albeit smaller, of course, from start to finish at Wembley Stadium. It's going to be a miserable return journey for the Gunners unless they can produce something extraordinary in the time that remains. Here's Danny Welbeck. Square to Alex Iwobi, who finds Wilshere. Wilshere in turn to Ozil. Ozil clips it over the top. Useful ball chased by Monreal, but chased in vain by the Spaniard. It's bounced twice and gone away behind for a Tottenham Hotspur goal kick, which they'll be in no hurry to take. 83,222 in Wembley Stadium for this derby.
Second half,
Ali trying to find Kane. The Tottenham fans are claiming it's either a corner or a free kick. Kane's gone down under pressure from Monreal. Just get another good view of it here. Did he win the ball? I think he did, actually. It's going to be a corner, not a free kick. Probably prefer a corner anyway.
Yeah.
Wanyama is about to come on, having hit an absolute screamer against Liverpool last week.
I think for some reason, John, that Mauricio Pochettino's come out to the fourth official who's holding up the board for to bring Victor Wanyama on, and I think Pochettino's just saying no wait. Not sure if they're making the substitution or not. Maybe as this corner's coming in.
I think Dele Alli might have been the man who was going to come off. Wanyama's stripped and on the sideline. It is Dele Alli who's coming off. Applause to Tottenham Hotspur fans behind that goal. Continued a bit of a barren spell. He hasn't been on target today. Only 2 in his last 20 games, Dele Alli, and he hasn't scored since he netted against Swansea 8 games ago, but he's getting a standing ovation from the Tottenham Hotspur fan. He's been part of a very good team performance today.
He's been fantastic, Dele Alli. It just, and again, I'd probably say his greatest attribute today was just his energy.
Yeah.
You know, he's made a couple of good passes and a couple of little flicks, especially linking up well with Harry Kane, but his energy and just non-stop running has been an absolute pleasure to watch.
Spurs have a corner. It's going to be Eric Lamela with his left foot to curl it in from the far side. Wanyama is immediately up to try and get on the end of it. Dyer does get on the end of it, but his header loops up, goes across the goal line for an Arsenal goal kick. 5 minutes to go. Last throw of the dice from Arsene Wenger sees Danny Welbeck fit again, and he's going to be introduced in place of Granit Xhaka for the final 5 minutes of the game plus stoppage time. 5 goals this season for Danny Welbeck, although he hasn't scored in the Premier League since he got a double against Bournemouth back in September. Here's Wilshere, midfield for Arsenal. That's a lovely ball by Wilshere to Aubameyang, and that's come off Davinson Sanchez, and Arsenal have suddenly got themselves a corner out of nothing. Really good ball by Wilshere.
Would you say
Sanchez got there just to poke it away from Aubameyang?
Would you agree with me that Wilshere's probably been Arsenal's best player?
I would. Apart from Czech, I would agree.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. Outfield player,
totally. 10th corner of the game. Third corner of the game, I should say, for Arsenal. Headed away by Kieran Trippier. Tottenham have had 10. Here's Wilshere again. Just gets it away from Eriksen and looks to try and cause a few more problems. This is good stuff from Wilshere, and Welbeck couldn't quite get on the end of it. It's a lovely ball by Jack Wilshere. Welbeck, who's just come on, the ball just went across him. He just needed a touch to bring it under control, and he wasn't able to do so. And Laurie slides in. But Arsenal in the last couple of minutes have looked better, and Wilshere's been, as you say, the instigator for them. But the fact remains that they trail by the Harry Kane header early in the second half. Here's Trippier finding Davinson Sanchez. Trippier down the line towards Eriksen, knocked away by Koscielny, picked up by Victor Wanyama, the Kenyan captain once of Southampton. It's gone out of play.
Well, I just think he's such a top player, Wanyama, and for almost Mauricio Pochettino has that option every single game that Wanyama's on the bench, and of course Eric Dyer and Dembele have been very good today, but to be able to bring off Victor Wanyama and just really try and kill this game off. We've talked about killing it off and getting the second goal, but Pochettino does this on a regular basis where he brings on Wanyama, and suddenly you have Eric Dyer, Wanyama, Dembele, and that is such a solid, strong central midfield area.
Yeah, and Arsenal haven't looked like breaking it down yet. Here's Koscielny. Tottenham fans have totally drowned out the Arsenal contingent, albeit smaller, of course, from start to finish at Wembley Stadium. It's going to be a miserable return journey for the Gunners unless they can produce something extraordinary in the time that remains. Here's Danny Welbeck. Square to Alex Iwobi, who finds Wilshere. Wilshere in turn to Ozil. Ozil clips it over the top. Useful ball chased by Monreal, but chased in vain by the Spaniard. It's bounced twice and gone away behind for a Tottenham Hotspur goal kick, which they'll be in no hurry to take. 83,222 in Wembley Stadium for this derby.
Well, they've definitely got their money's worth in the second half for the majority of the home fans, because Spurs' performance, first half was probably average at best.
Evenly poor, I think, first half, wasn't it?
Second half,
Tottenham,
they really have turned up, and they've produced the performance that pretty much everyone expected that you'd want to have in a North London derby.
Harry Kane is bungled over by Hector Bellerin. Is this the game where they're going to look back and say this is where the pendulum swung, and we can say that Tottenham are now above Arsenal, having been second best? Well, you look at the second half and they've been far the better team. They're going to be 7 points ahead of them, third in the table. Arsenal floundering outside the European places at the moment. Here's Lamela with a chance to finish it, and he should have done.
Well, he should have put it across. He should have put it across the box to Christian Eriksen, because Christian Eriksen has made a lovely diagonal run. Lamela's done well to keep himself onside, finds himself in the 18-yard box all alone. Christian Eriksen is making his way across the 6-yard box. It is a tight angle for Lamela. Probably if I were in that position, I would have had a shot too. But if Christian Eriksen's running in, put that across the 6-yard box, and that is the tap in. Second goal, game over. But it's not.
No, it
it's still 1-0.
We're in the final minute of the 90. Lamela should have perhaps wrapped it up. Tottenham have had 5 opportunities to increase their lead. Here's Bellerin for Arsenal, who are running out of time. Alex Iwobi square to Jack Wilshere. Wilshere tries to get forward, hacked away by Vertonghen, high and long and way into the Arsenal half, all the way through, in fact, to Petr Cech, but for whom Tottenham would be home and host, but they're not. Here's Bellerin down the right hand side for Arsenal. Useful looking cross, chance! Oh, Lacazette skied it. Difficult chance, to be fair. Tried to catch it on the volley and side-footed into the net. Instead he side-footed it a long way over the crossbar, and we're into 4 minutes of stoppage time.
Well, my heart was in my mouth there, because Bellerin, for once in this game, has put in a good cross. He's actually picked someone out. Lacazette finds himself at the back post, and I'm thinking, go on, just side-footed into the top corner. And it's a bit like Son's shot probably about 15 minutes ago, where he has a great opportunity and blazes it so high